Funny Games is the 2008 release, written and directed by Michael Haneke. It's an English remake of his own film from 10 years earlier. Yep. This time around, we got a new cast with Tim Roth and Naomi Watts, and this is the first of our Diamond Anniversary reviews. We're going back to 2008, picking out some movies, and we're going to take a look back at them, see how good they are 10 years later, if they hold up or not. So, Nate, let's just talk about the first time we saw Funny Games, because this was the second time for both of us watching this film. The first time, what did you think? Like, just give me a brief, like, what you felt walking out of it.
I mean, that was before, I was really getting heavily into film analysis and things like that. So I thought it was pretty weird. I mean, this is around the same time The Strangers came out. So I think that everyone
almost felt like another home invasion movie kind of.
A little bit, yeah. I was sort of on the high from The Strangers as well, because I saw it after The Strangers. And this one is very different than any other home invasion movie I've seen, at least. What about you?
Yeah, this is a very disturbing kind of movie, and I remember leaving it, like, I was impressed by the filmmaking choices with it, and overall I liked the movie, but it's not a movie like, dude, you want to watch Funny Games? Like, it was, the one time was kind of enough, and so coming back 10 years later, and you're right, watching it this time with, like, an analytical eye, it was very different, and one of the things I liked about this movie was the opening credits.
Yeah.
It was really bizarre, but I feel like it kind of, like, set the tone for how the movie's going to be. Like, there's this tranquil, existence, like heaven on earth kind of existence, but all this chaos is coming for them. They have no idea.
And it really catches you off guard right off the bat, which is what this movie does a lot. It surprises you. There's a lot of twists and turns, and that's just like, you're right, just one example. With the music shift that quickly, it's jarring and really uncomfortable. Yeah. And that is the definition of this movie. It's just very uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah. There are some filmmaking choices in here where they're unique in some circumstances, but they're a little cliched in others. Like in the beginning where these kids kill the dog. Yeah. Like, I was like, it works because I'm a dog lover and it makes me hate them right away, but I feel like it's just a little too easy of a tool. Like, well, how do we make the villains right away? Oh, have them kill a dog kind of thing. So there are some interesting choices that I do like, but I feel like there's some safe choices that are borderline too safe.
One thing that I think this movie does, I think the best asset of this movie is the opening and the building to something going wrong. Like, they walk this tightrope of these kids being very polite and very courteous, but also, like, something bad's going to happen. And it's going to happen at any time, and my heart was pounding at the beginning of this. I was like, I don't really remember when it starts, or how it starts, or how it unfolds.
What kicks it off.
Right, so, like, watching this, like, I did feel that, like, anxiety-riddled, like, oh my gosh, like, when is it going to happen? Like, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, and I think that the use of long takes that Michael Haneke did with this helps to establish that, because with these long takes, you're seeing everything unfold in real time. Yeah. So the tension is definitely building, like, all right, well, why haven't we cut yet? Why haven't we moved on to the next thing? Because something's going to happen. It did feel like at first this was just going to be another home invasion movie. Yeah. But this is very unique in the sense that Michael Pitt's character, Paul, I mean, he has many aliases in it, but it's mostly referred to Paul, breaks the fourth wall a few times.
He does.
And speaks to us directly as an audience. And I think that's effective in that it makes us feel like we're part of it. Like, he's having, it's a funny game to him. He's, all this crazy macabre is going on, and he's bringing us with him kind of thing. Like, oh, you guys want them to live, right? Well, this is what's going to happen.
And there's a lot of scenes in this where you feel like you're just sitting in the living room. Pretty much tied to a chair as well. Yeah. Like, watching what's going on. Watching Naomi Watts try to get out of this tape that she's in, or trying to just stand herself up. Takes so long, and you feel like you're there. And I like that they break the fourth wall, but I don't think it was used efficiently enough where, like, it's just sprinkled in. So it's kind of hard to really see, like, what are they doing with it. I think one thing that it presents is that the character of Paul is completely in control. And it really gives that feeling to the audience that, like, this guy's in control. These people are, like, not only are these people slaves to him, but the audiences as well.
You mentioned Naomi Watts. I think that she just kills it in this movie. I think she's easily the best part. I like the performances all around, but she's the standout. And Michael Pitt's up there too. Like, Michael Pitt really, he and Brady Corbett's character, they kind of almost have like this Hannibal Lecter-esque charm to them, with just like this deep psychosis, It's like on the surface.
And, they're in the nice clothing. They're sort of like that golfing sort of like polo clothing.
Yeah, and the young men, like, well-dressed, very long takes. This movie reminded me of Alfred Hitchcock's Rope.
Okay.
so much watching it this time around.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, being analytical and kind of drawing those comparisons to
Yeah.
it.
Labeling it funny games, I really tried to, focus on that title while watching this because they do play a lot of games. That is very childish type games that are life and death situations. When
Right.
they're looking for the dog, hot, colder,
Right.
warmer. Cold. Like there's these little it's a guessing game this time around, or it's going. All you have to do is say this backwards right, and you'll get that. Like they do play a ton of games with these people, and they're all pretty much like psychological word games, like in the tension, can you pull this off type of thing. But yes, Naomi Watts is fantastic. Tim Roth, I think, is also great. I just don't like his character. I think he is weak. He's so weak that I'm like, man, like this guy is not doing anything to prevent this.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and he's supposed to be that way. This really, after the tension breaks and something starts happening, when they start actually toying with them, not enough happens. There's a big chunk where the villains just leave, and then you're stuck with them trying to get up, or dry a phone off, or walk over a gate, or get through a fence, and I'm like, just get to it, would you? Like I felt kind of bored, and I felt like grueling. And I felt like the director wanted this to be grueling for the audience. Like, this is the intention of him, but I don't necessarily want to feel that way. And I'll compare it to movies like, even The Strangers at times sometimes felt like I was like, okay, I'm being toyed with a little too much. Like, can something else happen now?
Yeah.
But then if you compare it to something like You're Next, which is just so relentless and intense with so much happening, I felt like there could have been a little bit more happening for me because I did feel a little bored at times.
Right. I do commend the long takes in certain situations, like when she's trying to get up after the son is killed and trying to free herself. That's all one take, and that's a few minutes, and that's I feel like that's effective because it's not like, all right, well the son was killed and we're still in shock from it.
Yeah.
And instead of moving on to the next scene or the next sequence, we had to
absorb it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's effective in some of those cases, but you're right. In some cases where they're doing these long takes or just long sequences of just minutia, I'm like, all right, let's get it going. But
yeah.
I do like how Michael Haneke had almost all the violence off screen.
He did. It's just sound effects. And you use your imagination for what's happening.
Right, and then in some instances you see the other character's reaction to it, and so it's like you see their reaction, you kind of know what's going on off screen, and it's your imagination fills in the gaps.
Buffs.
Okay, Nate, we went back and revisited funny games. So why don't you go ahead and put your score on it?
Yeah, I think that this is a hard one to score. I think that there's people that really will enjoy this movie and want to see it because this is the type of film that they like. But there are people that will find this to just be like, why? It's a hard one for me to score. And for me, I'm a little bit on the latter. I'm a little bit like, I didn't really enjoy it all that much, but I respect it. So I'm going to go 5.5 out of 10. So not quite a recommendation, but there are people I know that'll be like, oh, totally, you'll love it, watch it.
Yeah, I really liked this movie the first time around, and I still enjoyed it this time around. The thing I appreciate about it is that it's a different kind of home invasion movie. Like ones like You're Next and The Strangers, I feel like some of them you can just line them up in a row and they all look the same. I think this one stands out.
Yeah.
I respect the filmmaking choices, but sometimes it was a little annoying. So I'm going to give Funny Games a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Buffs.
All right, so that's it for our review of Funny Games. What did you guys think of the movie? Have you seen both versions? Which one do you prefer? Go ahead and leave a comment down below.
And we'll be bringing you a Diamond review every month, and next month will be Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So excited to do a comedy. It turned 10, kind of weird.
See if it holds up.
Yeah, absolutely. But remember, wherever you are,
watch more movies.